There's been a debate lately whether I'm reviewing too many Kamen Rider toys or not, and I'm inclined to agree. And a lot of people are starting to ask for more Transformers again, but it's a little uninspired these days. So, you know what? I'm going to buck both of those, and instead, I'm reviewing a Dragon Ball Z toy. Yep, my channel, I'll do what I want. And right now, I want to review this. Normally, I have no interest in Dragon Ball Z toys, but it does get a little bit inspired thanks to the new abbreviated series. I mean DBZ Kai, not DBZ Abridged, though they're both at fault. But this happens to be my favorite character and in my favorite incarnations, so all semblance of willpower crumbled the second I saw they were releasing this. Gohan is the first use of SH Figuarts' Shota body, the young boy model. Every Figuart starts off as a basic model that they build to get the proportions right, and this is the first use of the young kid, so this is kind of a unique toy just in that fact. There's a lot of detailing going on here, and I'm going to start by demonstrating some of the paint detailing. You can see right there on the face, well, he's got the green eyes for a Super Saiyan, a little smile that's molded in, as well as painted just to bring it out a little bit more, and some little dots under the eyes. There's always a little scuffing under the eyes, especially in a younger character. It's a little pronounced on this face, but there's ways of fixing that we'll get to in a bit. There's also some very light shading on his chest and arms, everywhere the skin is. It's a little bit of a two-tone shade job, like the anime would have, but it doesn't look realistic in any way. It does keep its cartoony aspect, so it's actually very well done. The main thing here is the sculpting. You've got this very smooth, round musculature that is fairly well done. You've got all the little nooks and crannies that you need molded in, and a lot of the panel lines of the joints actually play a little bit into that, where they would normally be drawn in the show. Though it is a little distracting, I will admit, with the big elbow joints there. What's really impressive, I think, is the fabric. You got a ton of little folding going on here to represent that baggy look they had in the show. You've also got these little feet. A little bit of painting and a lot of little molding really gets across the style of the shoe. And yeah, even the socks are painted in. They don't miss a detail on these Figuarts, no matter what they're doing. You can also see the hair has been painted completely yellow, pretty much all the way around. There isn't any big surprises here. You know, again, you've got a lot of little painted detailing just to get the show's signature style across. Overall, I mean, molded detail-wise, the paint job, it's pretty well done. My big concern was the shoulders, being this little mini sleeve over the shoulder. I was really worried about how this would be handled in articulation. It's actually ball jointed in the back, so it goes along with the shoulder no matter which direction you articulate it in. Now, there are a few positions where it could come undone. It's very easy to push back together and make it look a little bit more natural. And it does move the same way as the sleeve does. Now, it's going to get into some poses that do look a little weird, and that's just how this goes. But overall, it does try its best to keep the illusion of a moving sleeve. There really isn't any other way of doing this any better, short of actually making a fabric costume, and they don't really look very good on a small-scale toy. So this is about as good as you're going to get. But as long as we're on the subject of articulation, A is an SH Figuarts, so you've got a ton. You've got the ball joint within the torso, as well as the fully realized shoulder joint, bicep swivel, double elbow joint, your Figuart triple jointed wrist at the back, at the hand, and the bending in the middle. You've also got the Type 1 hips, I believe. I could be mistaken. Which is basically the stem with a ball joint on the end, which allows for a wider range of leg motion. This really is where that fabric detailing comes in handy, because it does still come off looking good. There's a lot of Figuarts with too much of a smooth hip. That does get a little distracting when you extend the leg that way. On this, it works, and it's very important for a Dragon Ball figure, isn't it? It's also molded here in the back, so it allows the double knee joint. You've also got the ankle joint, which is a fully realized ball joint with a wide range of motion, including tilting, so you can get some of the nicest poses, as well as the bendable toes. The one thing you are going to be missing, however, is the torso joint. You get a ball joint here. It works as a very functioning waist joint. That's perfectly fine. But you are missing that upper torso joint that larger figures tend to get. You're also missing a little bit in the neck. Though it's jointed, it doesn't really have much articulation here at the body. The head, however, does have quite a range of motion to it. If you want flying, if you want jump kicking and attacking, you've pretty much got all the necessities. So articulation is a little limited by the size of the toy, but it doesn't really limit the character and anything you'd want to do with it. And to go further, since this is a Figuart, you have hand accessories. Two different types. You've got the closed fist as well as the open blasting hands, which I'm holding horribly to get a look at. There you go. You can see there's a lot of little molding detail in there. It looks like a real hand, which is kind of creepy. And then you've got these signature hands, which are for his fighting pose. And if that's not accessory enough for you, this toy actually comes with the Invisible Piccolo toy. It's very well articulated and yeah, never mind. It wasn't really well thought out of a joke, was it? No, of course, this is his signature cape that he had in this form, which you rip off the head and simply fall onto place. It's a little bit off-center, like it's flapping in the wind, so don't try too hard to get it solidly and squarely on there. It's not going to happen. But it does look quite cool. It makes it does give him a much more impressive look. Much more accurate to the show this way. This is the look that really got me onto this version of Gohan. I don't know, it's weird kind of seeing Piccolo and Goku in the exact same toy. But it does give him a very nice look, and it does really present itself well as an accurate rendition of the show's model. But this is a Super Saiyan, so we need to push him so he will ascend to the next level. So we gotta piss him off. Let's see here. Oh, hey Gohan! Look, I stuffed your dad in a box! And now we have Gohan, fully ascended to Super Saiyan level 2. And this is where the toy gets a little more interesting. Now, this is where it makes up for its size, because it's going to have a lot more going on than the Goku or Piccolo figure before. Here's these... Oh, look at that head sculpt. Tons of wild hair. They got the Super Saiyan 2 aesthetic pretty dead on. That one little lip of hair hanging off. And a ton of flowing hair to the back. Super spiky. This thing looks like it could injure you. It's also well painted too. You've got a lot of those little line details here, keeping the anime look pretty solid. And you can see, one thing I really like about this particular Figuart, all the facial details match in with the hair. It doesn't really look out of place or a little awkward. It looks natural. As natural as it could look with a Super Saiyan hairdo, at least. I say that because Figuarts didn't always get the anime look right. It's one reason why Goku hasn't been cracked open. The anime aesthetic kind of escaped the sculptors. You can really see this in their first attempt, which was the Domon Kashu Figuart, where some of the faces on him looked fine from one angle, but then you look at it from any other and oh my god! This has got kicked in the balls face. That's just not good. They really started getting it right once they hit Gohan, though. And how can I tell? Because this guy has faces. It's very hard. Hang on, let me line them up here. Because this guy has 6 different faces you can actually stick onto his torso. If one of them would stay up, I'd show you all of them all together. There we go. You can see the one that's still attached to the Super Saiyan 1 hairdo, as well as the 4 others. You've got the Happy-Go-Lucky that I've already demonstrated, the glaring out the side that I'm about to kill everything, the smirk of I'm about to kill everything, and the giant mouth open, I'm killing everything right now. So pretty much all the expressions of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Swapping out faces on either head is also not too hard. You've got a little piece in the front that pops off, which is how the hair can be sculpted so well. And then you just yank the face off. You could probably do this easier by removing the head first, but I really like how creepy that looks for starters. And I kind of wanted to show you that, yeah, no matter what you use this for, it's pretty easy to do, as long as you remember how to get everything back on. Because there's a lot of little pegs inside that head to keep track of. But overall, it's fairly easy to switch out, and you can see how dramatically it changes the look of the toy. I mean, now all of a sudden, he's got a completely different profile to him, which is the reason I love this particular Figuart. Despite its size, it is expressive. With 6 faces, 2 hairdos, and the cape, that's 24 different ways this toy could look on your shelf. You could have this toy in a different configuration every day for 3 weeks and still have some combinations you didn't get to. For Dragon Ball Z fans, it's going to be a toy that's very hard to get bored of. Despite being a tiny toy, Gohan here packs a ton of value. You're going to have a lot of way of displaying this guy, as well as a lot of really nice looking poses that are still very accurate, despite it being a sculpted anime toy, which is generally very hard to pull off. This is something I can safely recommend even to the casual Dragon Ball Z fan, especially if you are a fan of the character. This is a must-have. So my best advice to you, go hit Hobby Link Japan, go get your own. You're probably not going to be disappointed with this guy. So, Gohan, you're not going to hold that whole, I stuck your dad in a box thing against me, right? I mean, you know, you're my toy, you know, we're pals, you know, it's like... wait, no, wait, don't do that! Gohan, don't...